Okay, whew. And you see all that good stuff. It's just real moisturizing. All right. While I'm cooking supper for the athletic banquet, I'm going to let y'all in on some tips that I learned. Empaths and essential oils. Now, an empath is a person that they will go in a room, and anyone that's having a bad day, let me see, let me put some filter on here, because, let's see. All right, now, what y'all think? Ooh. Okay, I'm having way too much fun. I'm gonna go ahead. So, I think this looks good from empaths. I'll go back to my normal. All right, so I'm gonna put y'all in the cup so I can cook supper. So, empaths and essential oils. An empath is a person or a child that if anyone is having a bad day or they pick up those emotions. So, for example, I have a friend that when she gets in crowded situations, she starts getting very anxiety because she starts feeling if anyone's scared, tired, emotional. It's like they're spiritual sponges. But at the same time, they're usually very positive people. The empaths in my family would be Aaron, is second to highest. Breeze would be the highest. And then we all kind of have a little bit of empath in us too. So that's where you want to make sure that you support your adrenals, because it can be stressful just to be around people. And we don't want that. So we want joy oil on the heart. We want white Angelica to go ahead and put on the shoulders and the heart and the forehead to help the empaths put more of a emotional barrier. It helps them to feel more confident, feel their boundaries. Everyone is allowed boundaries. And for empath, it almost feels like everyone's invading their boundaries. So joy is good, white Angelica is good, Angelica is good, Valor would be another one that I would recommend for an empath. And the reason for that is because they don't always have the courage to speak their voice, to speak what they're thinking, because they're not always aware if it's their thoughts, their feelings, or someone else's. So boundaries, self-care, supporting the adrenals, joy, white Angelica, Valor. All the emotional oils are really good, but my favorites for our empaths are joy. Joy, if you're dealing with the empath and they're not going out in public, you can put the joy right here. And that's the grief spots, and that'll help them to not feel so overwhelmed. Journaling, creative outlets, alone time is going to be important for empaths. Empaths will also need to make sure that they're surrounded with good people, because negative and non-positive people will turn them into a bad mood or make them very stressed out. So I would explain an empath almost where their emotional boundaries are really fluid. So we need, with the oils, you're helping them to make a protective emotional shield from them. And then when they pick good friends, that's another boundary that they can use in a tool. Meditation, prayer, worship. These are all good things to support themselves. I'll put an article in here about frequency, or energy. Emotions are energy. It can be passed from one person to the other. That's why you can walk into a room or even walk by your spouse and you can feel what they're feeling. And if you know this person really a lot, you may even get it really, really close. Like you may not, instead of just maybe this is sadness, you may know that it is grief or it's it'll be maybe resentment. You'll know more of what they're feeling when you're around this person. So when we're around people, they can actually drain us. And it's because they're taking our positive energy. Or if they're negative, they're taking our positive energy and giving us their negative stuff. We all know this happens, but on the scientific side, that is what is happening. So those are some techniques. Resting, good for exercise, anything, good food. Those are really, really important for empaths because they will be really affected more than a regular person because they're so sensitive. Normally your empaths are the people that work in helps ministries. They're the counselors, the social workers. They're the trusted friend that everyone calls to tell their problems to. They're the friend that just makes them feel better. They're in occupations that normally service or help other people. And the reason that is the case is because they're normally naturally caregivers, nurturers. They give of themselves. They just don't always know how to put some protective boundaries and set some limits, and so that they're not drained. I would also recommend that every empath learn about dangerous personalities, your narcissistic, your sociopaths, anything where people or those dangerous personalities look as an empath as a buffet table, because these dangerous personalities do not have emotions themselves, so they can suck off of an empath. So you can read, they normally, you can also call this a codependent relationship. Empaths usually also end up getting into codependent relationships where they're the ones giving all the time. They're the ones that it's being drained, and the other person is a taker. So you will see that. So I believe that empaths should understand really early on about the different personalities, narcissistic, sociopathic, borderline personalities. These personalities that seek out people that are empaths to get something they don't have. They're normally, these personalities normally are not loving, not caring, not positive. So they're able to parasitically feed off of that personality, the empath. And I can put some articles on that too. So that's just kind of what I wanted to share today. I have two empaths. My husband's a empath also. I can be a little bit, but we've had to learn these lessons because as a good person and as a nice person, not always people will be giving into your life. It's always important that as an empath or even a caregiver or anyone that gives out in the profession to set up regular self-care regimens. So that they can, hi Mandy, so that they can make sure that they're replenished. No one can give from an empty cup. When I've seen when my empaths get tired and people have been draining them, they will change personalities. They may start having nightmares. They may be moody. They may be depressed. They may be sad. And these all might be a consequence of stress, overworking, not taking enough self-care, or it could even be a symbol of a dangerous personality that has infiltrated their life, that is pulling from them and altering their behavior. Because we have a lot of empaths in my family, when anyone has a situation and they're just bothered and they're worried or they're stressed, the rest of the family will start picking up on it and will be like, okay, stop everything. What's going on with you? I can feel something. Something's different. We need to address something. We need to pray about something. What is at the source of this? Because when you're in relationships and there's a lot of love and a lot of support and it's a positive environment, when that environment gets altered, everyone in that environment starts feeling it. Example, when mom's not happy, everyone's not happy. Well, if you pay attention in your families, you're going to start seeing where you can tell when dad has had a bad day. You can tell when they're overstressing about school. You can tell when maybe they're overworking or they're not resting enough. So these are some of the clues that you want to look for when you do have an empath who's normally not positive, uplifting, happy, joyful, a blessing to be around, a servant and nurturer. Anytime they're going to change personalities, it's important to bring in these tools to help them. The joy oil, adrenaline support, Ningxia Red, rest, sleep, meditation, good friends, good music, good videos. It's kind of like a garden, and it grows delicate flowers. And you want to make sure that those delicate flowers have what they need to be the blessings of the world, to be the beauty of the world, to give to others, to refresh others. You want to make sure whoever they're around, they're being nurtured and they can pull. Sometimes we have it in our head that we're going to be in relationships where it's always one-sided, and that's wrong. We should be in relationships where there's so much positive going back and forth and encouragement that we're both encouraged. One person doesn't need to be depleted and the other person refreshed. Like, oh, I feel so good. And then the other person's like, oh my gosh, oh, please. I'm going to check the cameras next time they come to my door because I'm not letting them in because I'm exhausted. I spent 2 hours with them and I need to go take a 4-hour nap. I know we all have those people. And when you're dealing with an empath in your family, or even if you're an empath, if you're prophetic, if you're sensitive, those all kind of contribute to this gift. I believe an empath is a gift, and it's a personality, and it must be safeguarded and protected. And there's tools when that gift or trait of a person is being strained. I don't know how long I've been talking. I hope I haven't been talking too long. But if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I would love to chat. I just thought this was very important. I'll tell you that my Breeze is a strong empath, and she had a nightmare. We've been having the play for 4 nights, and she's been really tired, and she had a nightmare last night. She normally doesn't have nightmares. So we talked over the nightmare, we hugged, we rest, we gave a lot of Ningxia Red, we gave some Nitro, we stopped for a smoothie. We took our morning slowly until she was ready to go out into the world. And you can feel it if you have an empath child. Hugging is good. Hugging is very beneficial. Touch, love, kind words, security, a safe place. The home should be a safe place. And that's why I'm telling you about all these tools, because an empath, when they come into their house, they should feel safe. And that should be their refuge to make sure that they are energized so that they can give back out. So by the time we hit school, she was in a great mood. I gave her Nitro, which I don't normally give her a whole Nitro, but I gave her a whole Nitro because it was energy, B vitamins, great for you. It has natural folate in it, which her body needs. And by the time we hit school, which I think was like at 10:30, she was back to her cheerful self. She had forgotten about the nightmare. She was ready for school. So sometimes it may take a little while to transition. I'll tell you, she's such a strong empath that she's the type that we'd watch cartoons, and if the dog was in trouble and sick, I would have to reassure her that the dog in the movie wasn't going to die. So I had to spoil things for her always, because she'd start tearing up and crying over the dog in the movie when she was little. I think she was probably about 3 or 4. So that's something else you may, it's just important to be there for them. You will enjoy being around empaths in your life. You'll start recognizing them as I'm talking and letting you know about what all there. And I will put some links to them in the things. I'll put the links in the comments so that you can see, and also put the suggestion of products that we use that we've really seen Breeze wore white Angelica probably for her first 18 months. I used everything natural on her, so it didn't have a smell. So I would use white Angelica as her baby smell. And then I started using Joy when she started having nightmares. And then she told me we would use Joy every night. And then she told me, okay, Mom, I don't need Joy anymore every night. Now, when I go on a long trip, I leave Joy. And if her dad doesn't put it on and she gets home, I get home from the trip and she cries and she tells me that she couldn't express her feelings. I ask her dad why she didn't give him Joy, and he says, I didn't know, she didn't tell me. So I oiled her up when I came back and reassured her that next time I'd leave her in charge of the Joy oil so that she could feel emotionally secure even when I wasn't in her presence. So I hope that helped you. The oils, people, all these things that we surround these people. So, and also teach them that their feelings are okay. It's okay to have time to yourself. It's okay to have self-care. It's okay to say no. It's okay to have your own thoughts. It's okay. It is perfectly normal. Because sometimes these people forget that it's okay to say no. It's okay to have boundaries. It's okay that you're not friends with these people because you feel like they're trying to take advantage of you. It is perfectly fine to have boundaries on your life and protect yourself emotionally. I hope this was helpful. I'm sure y'all just love my little mask. I'm gonna put it back on because I have an athletic banquet tonight and I want to look beautiful. I want to look. I'm working on these. When I don't sleep well and don't drink enough water and we've been busy, it kind of gets wrinkled right here. So I add a lot of extra support, and the mask helps with that, and Art Intensive Moisturizer. It's kind of like talking to yourself on a Facebook Live. So let me know what y'all think in the comments, if you've learned something. Let me know if you realize that either you're an empath. Normally, most people that are kind, giving, and loving or have some empath in them. Empath word means the ability to feel what others feel in their situation, which is good because you can pray for them, you can have compassion, but at the same time, at times it becomes like leeches sucking your energy and you can't get this off of you. So that's where the oils, the Joy oil, the white Angelica, the Valor, grounding, gathering, surrender, all these other oils help you to take off the stuff that doesn't belong with you. If your boss, if your friend has a bad day, it is okay to still be happy. Their problems are not yours. There's no reason to feel guilt for others' misery. Enjoy your life. Enjoy the good times. Enjoy the blessings. Enjoy the treasures without guilt. Because down the road, you might not be having joy. But at the same time, when they're not having joy, you need to be an inspiration that joy is possible. Even when they're not feeling it. And I know some people are like, oh, I don't want to be happy around somebody that's sad. Well, you know what? It's okay. If you've made good choices and you've surrounded yourself with good people and you have a lot of blessings in your life, joy and happiness is okay. It's okay to express that you enjoy and love your life. We're supposed to create a life and have a life that we love. And we get to choose who we do it with. That sounds so funny. We get to choose who is a part of our life, who we nurture, who we love, who we let nurture us. And if the others in our life aren't nurturing us, as an empath or as a person that's forming boundaries, it is okay to say, at this time, this person doesn't need to be my inner circle. They're not feeding me right now. I cannot feed the world with my energy. We must pick and choose people that are like us so that it intensifies the love. So if you're around a loving person, there's more love. When you're around somebody that's giving, there's more giving. When you're around someone that's kind, there's more kindness. I love being able to give to my friends or my family. And I know a lot of times, and then they give, and sometimes they'll give back. But I love to be able to give. So just imagine where You don't keep track of who gives who what, but you just love and give and do, and just because you like that person, just because you're around that person, just because it's wonderful to be around them, and it's wonderful for them to be around you, because we're all